Hey guys, welcome to today's Vehicle Visionary. My name is Tom Tompkins. I'm the host and the founder of Vehicle Visionary. And next to me today is the 2006 Porsche Carrera S. And I want to challenge you as we go through this review. If you know what you're looking at, see if you can find all of the things that have been changed and upgraded on this particular Carrera that you don't normally see. The owner has set this car apart tremendously. Okay guys, I told you there were some things on this particular Carrera that are not stock, but I think set it apart tremendously. And it starts here with the blinkers, the running lights right here on the front end of the Porsche. These are LEDs. They didn't originally come that way. And if you keep moving over to the side here towards the middle of the car, you're gonna see tow, and there's actually a functional tow hook right here, hopefully not needed. But still, that is really cool if you're out on the track with it and you break down or something like that and need to be towed back to the pits or whatever the case may be. That's what this is for right here. That was added by the owner of the car, and I think that's a very nice feature. Now, as you can see, we've opened the frunk on the Carrera here, and I want to point out one thing. If you know your 2006 model years, you're going to notice some things on this particular car, and I'll show you two of the main things as we work our way around the vehicle itself that come from the GT3 of that generation. And that would include the front spoiler right here, the front bumper I should say, and we'll also show you the wing on the rear. And I really think that sets this car apart tremendously. But here's the thing, these are all Porsche parts. They're not aftermarket, they weren't made somewhere else. They are all original parts. They were just added to this car to upgrade it and make it look more like what the owner wanted it to look like. Here under the frunk, once it's open, you do have a 6-disc CD changer, but you also have a plethora of tools in here. But here was something I thought was very interesting that the owner showed me. Here's some oil that comes with the car. And so we were checking that out earlier, looking in here, and he found that earlier. So these cars are notorious for using up a reasonable amount of oil. So it's kind of nice that Porsche put that in there. So you also have a tire inflation kit right here. That's what this is for. You can inflate your tires if you get a low tire, whatever the case may be, that's there for you. And you also have a nice little set of tools here, if I can get that out, that I'll show you as well. Pull that open. Just an Allen wrench, a screwdriver, a wrench, a couple other little things here to help you out for whatever situations may come up. You know, I would really love to see more car manufacturers make things like this available with your cars, whether it's a high performance supercar such as this or just your daily driver. And as we continue down on the side of the 2006 Porsche Carrera S, the Guards red paint on this car, I think that's absolutely stunning. Out of the 9 or 10 vehicles I've had over the course of many years of driving, only 2 have not been red, so I love this. And the 18-inch rims, black in color, I think that really sets off the color combination of this car, the black and the red. You do have factory red, the Guards red paint on the calipers as well. 235 on the front, and on the rear tires you have 305s. But let me show you what I think is one of the greatest things that has been an upgrade on this particular Carrera S that sets it apart and makes it look so racy. Okay guys, here is what I think really sets this particular Porsche Carrera off from all the others. It's the rear wing. Now this didn't come originally with the car, but I think it really should have, because it makes it look so much more racy. And one of the coolest things, obviously under the hood here, is the 3.8 liter 6-cylinder, and we'll talk about that in just a minute when we open that up and take a look. But you actually have 3.8 here on each side of the wing, and so that sets it off a little bit more. Of course, you've got Carrera S right here. The owner actually painted that black himself. I have a very talented owner who owns this car. He's changed just about every light on this car to be LED with the exception of the tail lights, but that is coming as well. Interesting facts about the wing here. You actually have two different pieces between the wing and the deck here. Right underneath the wing are the inlets for the air, so the engine can get as much air as it possibly needs so it can produce the stock 355 horsepower that it puts out. But with the upgrades that the owner has done, it is now putting out closer to 385, maybe a little bit more. And we'll do an exhaust clip in just a minute. One more thing on the wing here, right underneath on the struts right here, there's two adjustments, actually, two little pieces right here that you can take off, these little rubber pieces right here, and adjust the angle of the wing depending on how much downforce you want to add or take away, depending on what you're doing when you're out on the track. Let's do that exhaust clip I was telling you about, and you're gonna find out that the exhaust itself has also been tremendously upgraded, and this car sounds more like a modern day GT3 RS than a 2006 Carrera S. Okay guys, now that we've got the hood open here for the rear engine portion, I'll tell you what, one thing about this, if you've never driven anything like this, take it easy your first few laps around the track, because if you start to slide through the turns pretty good, the balance of this car is a little bit different with the engine being this far back. If it starts to come around on you, it's going to be more likely to come all the way around. Just a little food for thought. Now, as we look underneath the hood here, of course, you've got air into the engine coming right here from the two ducts that I showed you on top. But the fan right here is actually used to evacuate hot air out of the engine bay. That's going to help keep the engine running cooler. Instead of it having all that hot air around it, it has a place to go. Very nice setup. I like that. Obviously, there are some changes underneath here. The throttle body is not the stock 77 millimeters. It's actually been upgraded to 82. And of course, the air induction here has changed tremendously as well. I like the carbon fiber here. The stickers are all original looking, but they had to be replaced based on changes that the owner of the car made. But everything is factory underneath here. It's just been replaced after changes and upgrades that took place on the car. One more thing I want to point out here on the back of the car before we start it up and let you hear it is the license plate. I had to ask the driver, because I had seen this car many times. You've actually seen this same Carrera in previous videos from the exotic car meets that I go to every month here in Shreveport, Louisiana. So I said, what does that mean? I could not figure it out. It means last analog. And if you're an aficionado of these Porsches, you're gonna know what that means. Tell me in the comments if you know. Okay guys, I'm gonna start here on the passenger side of the interior. Not a whole lot to tell you about over here, but there is one thing I think is very important to share with you here on the interior. When I open the glove box, there's a nice Porsche pin right here. That's pretty cool, just for whatever you might need. Hopefully you're not signing any tickets with this thing, but everything but that I think is acceptable. So kind of nice. There's a nice little area right here where it just fits right in, and everything is so easy to get to. Plus you do have cup holders up here. You actually have two different cup holders that are hidden away right there. So now one thing I want to say, you'll notice that there is a screen on the interior here. Doesn't really do a whole lot, at least not with this particular model. You'd have to have a different module for that, such as answering phone calls and different things like that. But being that this is a 2006 year model vehicle, it got me thinking, what was the very first vehicle and the very first year that had any kind of an in-screen dash in the center of the dashboard like that? Believe it or not, it was actually a Buick Riviera, a 1986 model. Okay guys, I'm over here in the driver's seat of the Carrera S. And again, a lot of tremendous upgrades that the owner has done. A lot of things have been painted that used to be a lighter color. Now they're black. I think that fits perfectly. I like the carpet right back here in the back seat. That also was upgraded with the Carrera S on it. Right there. There's Alcantara here that you normally wouldn't have. The door handles would normally not be red. They're matching of the color of the car, which I really like that. Obviously an upgraded shifter knob. Now, for people who might say, well, why would you want to change so much? Well, everyone likes to be unique in what they do, and the owner has been very wise in what he has done in all of the different upgrades, whether it's the steering wheel or the exhaust or whatever it's been, even adding the rear wing. He still has every single original part that came off of this car, and so when he decides to sell it one day, the new owner will have the option to leave it as it is right now or put it back in completely original condition. So a lot of great things here, but I have to say one of my favorite is the sport mode button. And when you hit that button, that's what allows the exhaust to actually go from a more quiet tone to a louder tone when it's the stock exhaust. Now obviously the exhaust on this particular Carrera is spectacular. Makes it sound like a modern day GT3 RS, which if you watch me regularly, you know that's one of my absolute favorite cars. But looking throughout the interior here in the car, this is a spectacular vehicle. One more thing I want to point out before I step out of the interior of the 2006 Carrera S. Another little trivia fact for you. Have you ever wondered, if you don't already know, why is the ignition on these Porsches on the left-hand side of the steering column instead of on the right like you would traditionally see it? That actually came from Porsche's original involvement in the 24 Hours of Le Mans. It's actually easier and faster for the driver to get in, hit the ignition, and grab the shifter lever at the same time instead of having one hand to hit the ignition and then reach down for the shifter lever. Very interesting little piece of information in case you didn't know. And that will bring to a close my time with the 2006 Porsche Carrera S. Great car, I'll tell you what, I love the upgrades and everything the owner has caringly done with this car. And a lot of it he actually did himself. Very talented individual. I appreciate him for giving me the chance to review this particular car, and I appreciate all of you for taking the time to watch. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Leave me a comment and let me know that you are here, and I will see you next time on Vehicle Visionary.